मैं निहायत एहतराम से प्रोफेसर शकील अहमद रोमशू साहब से गुजारिश करती हूँ कि वो इस तकरीब की निस्बत से कलीदी खुतबा मरहमत फरमाएं। प्रोफेसर शकील अहमद रोमशू साहब।
Honorable Vice Chancellor, University of Kashmir, Professor Talat Sahab, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Central University of Kashmir, Professor Farooq Sahab, Registrar, University of Kashmir, Dr. Nisar Sahab, Registrar, Central University of Kashmir, Professor Afzal Sahab, my fellow colleagues from various departments of the University of Kashmir, the Central University of Kashmir, participants, research scholars, a very good afternoon to all of you. So because of the paucity of time, you will excuse me if I don't sound very organized in my thoughts. So I had thought that, in my keynote speech, I will just, talk about the need for increasing the public outreach of science and technology. It's a very comprehensive topic. As my colleague and friend, Professor Afzal was talking about some of the applications of science and technology for the humanity. He cited a couple of them, but there is no disagreement. If you look at the human history, and if you go to the recent human history, the Holocene, where a civilized man, so-called civilized man, started, life on the planet. I mean, the human history is much, much longer. And in the last, millennium, or I will say a quarter of the millennium, 200 years, you will see the advancement of science and technology. There is no aspect of life, there is no sphere of human life where science has not made an impact. But as of today also, you see that, it is very difficult for a common man to understand science. So if you just want to talk science to a common man, so you will face a lot of difficulties. Even as a scientist, we are not able to, talk about our own work to other scientists, to scientists from other fields. And we know, because of the education that we have, we face as scientists, we have a social disconnect. Because as scientists, we are not very, good storytellers. We are not able to say, express the use of our work, the research for the common man. When somebody tells me that I am doing the basic science and it has no link to the common man, I don't agree. Whatever science we do, I think it has linkage to the common man. It is only we fail to, deliver that message to the common man, or even to the government or the stakeholders. We have different stakeholders. However, the situation is changing. Now, if you look at, basically the increasing the outreach of science and technology among the common man is basically on the agenda of the government. The reason that we are, basically today celebrating the science festival is because of that. We want to just convey, our or give an outreach to our research among the general masses and the public. And if you look at, the efforts at the national level being made for the last few years about the, increasing the outreach of science and technology among the common masses, I think there has been tremendous advancement. Science and technology and innovation policy. See, for the last 2 years, we are discussing the science and technology and innovation policy. I think the 5th draft of that policy is already ready. And it has been even discussed with foreign diplomats, I think with every segment of the society. And if you go into the science, technology and innovation policy, you will see that the outreach, outreach of science and technology among the common masses, policymakers, the politicians is very paramount. It is very clear. And, many of you probably just are aware that a new discipline, the science communication or the science, is emerging. So there's a, significant need for the better science communication. I think this is basically a sort of interpreters between the scientists and the common man. A lot of universities are offering courses in science communication. And if you look at the science, technology, and innovation policy, this is very, significantly brought out that there's a need for, better communicators who can take, science and technology outreach to the public. I just, give you some of the, examples of the need for, better science communication. I get surprised, you might be seeing when some people ask me, or when you see a very provocative headline in the newspapers, climate change, a reality or a hoax. It was talked about 30 years back. There's a group of 5,000 scientists, very distinguished, working all over the world, that every 2, 3 years, 5 years, they come up with a report under the IPCC, Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. But still, because probably the scientists have not been able to convey, the message to the people. Or look at the recent example of COVID. Many people, I will not be surprised in this audience, have not done the vaccination because of some myths about the COVID. There's a large segment of the society educated who don't go for the COVID vaccination because of certain, because the doctors or we as the scientists have not been able to convince the common masses about the, usefulness. And we know it. I feel very confident because when I am double vaccinated with the booster, but still there are examples, but we have not been able to take it forward. Similarly, as I said, I may not look very organized in my talks. I am just leaving some of the points. But the advancement in the field of technology that, Afzal Sahab talked about. Your lives are no more because of that gadget he was talking about. You lose all your privacy. Haven't you seen that when you Google about something, after 10 minutes, you get a call from some company that you are looking for this product? When you press the button of like, dislike, angry on the Facebook, it is being recorded. You feel that you are very secretive. You don't reveal your choices, but you have already registered your choices, and that has become a part of a database which is accessible to somebody. Didn't you hear in the last elections when it was alleged that the Facebook has, disclosed this data to some of the political parties in India, and it became a big political issue? Now, you see, all this, the technological advancement, the introduction of AI, artificial intelligence and machine learning, I think is making a big impact on our lives and is helping in let us say, extracting your choices. The choices you made, you feel very secretly on the internet, you make it. It was very difficult to get it from you and take some, decisions. Now, somebody, if he accesses this database, he can understand everything in your, mind. So it, in a way, also helps us in that better sense, communication. But let me come to this specifically. And there are a lot of other, the crowdsourcing, the social media, and I think many other ways of, communicating our ideas to the communities or to the stakeholders. But I just talk about, look at the boost that the expenditure or the science spending is going to get. If you look at the recent budget, Science and Technology Department or the Ministry of Science and Technology, Government of India, got about 15,000 crores. Now, if you look at that same budget, the expenditure on the science and research and development is about 1,50,000, and that is just 0.7% of our GDP. Now, look at the NEP, National Education Policy, which says that we have to spend 6% of our GDP on the education. And that way our political leaders, the decision makers say that India has to be among the first 3 economic and science powers in the world. So you need to move from 0.7% to almost 3.5% GDP expenditure. And look at the amount of funding that will be available for the promotion of science and technology in the country. I think the NEP and the Science, Technology and Innovation Policy very explicitly talk about how we can take India among the first 3 powers as far as economy and science is concerned. If you look at our contribution, we are 18% of the global population. And our contribution to the knowledge generation is mere 4%. So if we aspire to be the economic power, if we aspire to be the knowledge power or the science power, and with the commitments that are made in the National Education Policy 2020 and Science and Technology Policy, I think there will be a huge jump in the amount of the grants that will be available to the But I just I will take another 2 minutes only to conclude my speech, because now look at the outreach that we have recently got. I mean, this is a face-to-face outreach. We are talking about science, and we are trying to communicate with you science. The webinar, the semi-seminars, the media and all that. But recently, the best thing that has happened about the COVID experience is that we have learned to effectively communicate with the scientists, with the common man through webinars. I think that is going to stay with us, and that is the best medium. There are many other issues, that I wanted to highlight, but we have heard, how the public funding is spent. Huge amount of money is, given to the universities, given to the researchers. As I said, 1,50,000 crores. And I have seen recently some of the individual researchers get 150 crore project. Recently, I was looking at the Department of Science and Technology. Many individuals have got funding from 1 crore to 160 crores. But there will be basically the public. This is the public money. This is taxpayers' money. They would ask you, what is the utility of this research that you have done? And you can only do if you are very effective communicators. So we need to learn how to effectively communicate our research to the masses. With these words, thank you very much for your attention.
Shukriya, Professor Shakil Ahmad Romshoo Sahab.